Welcome back, everyone, to another very special episode of...
The question show that we haven't named yet. We'll get there.
Wasn't it like Eric Asks
Well,
a question?
We've called it something different every single time.
Yeah.
So,
Well, what is it? Well, let's introduce ourselves first. Obviously, I'm here, DJ. We got Eric, and we also have our other special guests that are still with us because we recorded all these all on one night. We got...
Hi, I'm Stefan again. Still.
And Ray's still here.
And Eric, why don't you read from that memo pad you got over there?
I have a question for you guys. Are you ready?
I hope so.
Okay, this question is called the Cyborg question. All right, so let me just read this off. So, humans, right? Occasionally they find
Can't
themselves...
live with them, can't live without them.
I mean, yeah.
You can live without him.
Look, man, the bees can manage without us. So humans often seem to find themselves in situations where they're the victim of an accident. Scars, worse, death, whatever. Loss of life, loss of limb. Prosthetic limbs, though, are used to bridge the gap of human functionality. And that now brings people pretty much up to par with people that have had their regular limbs left over, right? Like they didn't lose them.
Or sometimes better, you get like some Bionic Man stuff going on.
Well, right. They're getting pretty advanced. This means there are now people that are partly synthetic, doesn't it? Are they cyborgs?
Or like how much of a person does a cyborg make?
Are they cyborgs? Go ahead and just right off the top, what is your answer to that?
Like,
So a person loses an arm in a thresher,
Yeah, they lose their arm in a thresher shark.
and then they get a prosthetic arm that has full functionality or whatever, or like almost full functionality.
It can
or
hold-
you're just even it can hold.
It can
and
hold a
grasp.
cup. It's got the karate chop action.
it's
Are
important.
they a cyborg?
Are they a cyborg?
What do you think, Ray?
Asking the three of you guys.
By definition, yeah.
What about deep down your heart's gut?
I don't think so. I don't think so at all, but...
Stefan?
I think, so maybe this is a little unorthodox, but regardless of what your definition of a cyborg is, I have my own personal definition, and that's that there has to be like a specific percent of the person that is not that person anymore.
This is where we're going. Yeah.
I think if you're like 49% still the person, and you're 51% prosthesis, you're a cyborg, definitely. If more than half of you is not what you started with, then you're probably a cyborg. But if like you're missing an arm and they give you a new one, I don't think that makes you a cyborg necessarily.
I want to hear your answer first, DJ, before I want to address what he just said, but...
I don't know why it matters more to me this way, but for the legs, I think like having like synthetic legs that makes you more of a cyborg than having synthetic arms in my book. I don't know why, but that's just like my gut.
I like how each of you has hit on one of the several bullet points that I have lined out separately.
Wonderful.
So if we're going to start just the first one on the list of things to consider to change your mind about cyborgs. What Stefan said, is there a specific percentage of the original body mass that is required for them to be considered a cyborg in your eyes? Now, Stefan, you're saying more than half?
Yeah, like, I'm saying maybe it's a little unorthodox because you could argue that technically cyborgs don't exist. But I feel like you could hypothetically assign a percentage.
I mean, I don't know, man. I got Iron Man right there.
Oh, that's Iron Man right there.
That's
yeah.
Iron Man right there.
I seen it.
That's Iron Man right there.
Iron Man.
A lot of them have dumb pictures like that. Ray, same question. Percentage? Does that affect your opinion?
I mean, like, in all honesty, for it to be a cyborg, I would say half. But even then, it's more of a replacement of consciousness. In all honesty, once the mind is a non-living system,
Yeah.
that's the weird part I have because
Yeah.
because then by definition, like any sort of piece of technology that we're required in order to live our lives,
Yeah.
then we're all cyborgs in one way, shape, or form. You know what I mean? We all
guess.
have phones and all that stuff, and I was in there.
No, but you're looking at Eric.
Yeah, because I'm talking to Eric.
Don't talk to me.
Well, don't talk to me, but I mean, we're all relying upon technology more so now than ever.
Like, even as simple as, like, having glasses.
Right.
Nerd.
But, yeah.
Yeah, you two nerds.
I don't need them, but I kind of need them to drive sometimes.
I want your lunch money, that's what I'm saying.
Well, you're not getting it. All right, I'm a cyborg. I'm not going to let you take my lunch.
I mean, but then you have to expand the definition a little bit.
Right.
If you want to say that like limbs and stuff like that, stuff that is replicating a biological system gets replaced, then 50%, as far as I'm concerned,
Okay.
or a little bit above.
I'm kind of
But-
with Ray on that, where he's got like if depending on like if it's like the mind or like maybe like for me it's kind of like also just like how vital that thing that gets replaced is to everyday life, or like how like if your like eyes got replaced, like even if like everything else on your
Special
body,
eyes.
yeah, if you have special eyes, I think you could say you're a cyborg.
All right, I'm gonna be a bit contrarian
Or if
to
you
you
have like a
guys,
synthetic tongue,
'Cause-
makes you a super taster.
or that guy from that one show.
It's 100% vanilla. It's pure vanilla.
I think that there is a specific percentage, and I think it's probably like more than 10. Because at like 10%, you're just a person with a missing hand, or you're a person like, yeah, the top of my head got blown off in a bee accident, so they gave me a robot top head.
Listener at home, try to guess which other episodes we filmed with this one or recorded with this one.
Sure, we filmed them.
Yeah, we filmed.
We're
it
just
too.
greedy.
Yeah, no one else gets to see those.
I just think that like there's a when you say it's got to be half, I don't think that's the definition of cyborg. I think it's partly synthetic is the definition. And
I think you also have to consider which biological systems are getting replaced. So, okay, if I end up like Jax from Mortal Kombat, right? Okay.
black.
Ooh. Oh, man.
Metal arms. but
He's on the floor.
okay. Do I consider him a cyborg? No.
That's baffling to me.
Really?
That's not 50%.
Well, but like he's missing
Okay.
2 limbs.
Right, okay. But then by that very definition, even if missing 2 limbs, right? What if I was to jump into an exosuit that only enhanced my arms? Am I a cyborg now?
But if it's part
Well,
of
I
your
don't-
body, though.
I don't think so because that's
because what if the exosuit is part of my body?
well.
Is
What
Iron
if it-
Man a cyborg?
I look at it this
No,
way. It's like
no. Like, but okay. What if it is required in order for my arms to move, but I haven't replaced the limb?
well, then wouldn't that be the same as just having limbs that don't work?
He doesn't. But he's got like pneumatic
But I
tubes on his arms.
have
to, like, make
same
his arms work.
biological systems. I just can't move it, and I have an exosuit that
Or
allows me to move my
An
arm.
assistive device.
Well, is a person in an iron lung a cyborg because most of their body mass, if you count the mass of the lung they're trapped in, made of metal to breathe?
Absolutely. At most angles, you see somebody in an iron lung, you'd say, "Oh, that's a washing machine," and then you see a head,
But
and
it's
you're like,
washing
"Well, wait,
that
no, that's a
human."
person in there." 100% of the time,
but
right?
it's washing that human.
It's washing their insides that breathe. By
That's what I'm saying.
stimulating them.
What I was implying by that was saying that, like, if somebody was to artificially replace lungs, stomach, heart, that sort of thing, that ups that percentage. Like, okay, what I'm saying is,
higher functionality gives you higher percentage.
if even though I can say arm is one thing, stomach is one thing, right? And I replace arm with synthetic, and I replace stomach with a synthetic, the person who replaces stomach is more cyborg than the person who replaces the arm, in my opinion.
Interesting.
I go by body mass. I think is the metric I'm using.
I think
But it's like, but how it's more of like how, if that system was removed, how would it how would the person
Ray,
function without it?
Ray, question.
So if you don't have a stomach, you can function without an arm. If you don't have a stomach and you've replaced your stomach, then you're screwed. You know what I mean? Like that sort of thing.
Ray, question. Who's more cyborg? Person with fake eyes or fake legs?
Fake eyes.
Cool.
Well, we've sort of already
By what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know
Hold
what I
on.
mean?
So
we've sort of tap danced right on to the second bullet point is
Wonderful.
the specific body parts being synthetic tip to scales in one direction or the other.
100%.
And I'm not
Yeah.
kidding. That is the next
100%.
one.
So
And
it's
I wrote
fun?
examples as like heart, legs, brain, whatever.
The more
Vital.
vital the organic system that is getting replaced by a synthetic one, the more cyborg that person is. A la a fucking RoboCop type deal. You know what I mean?
Hey man, he's still got that one hand.
Yeah. Okay.
What a hero.
So, hold on. I think it's complicated without,
Please.
like, standards set, right? So, like, a completely organic system, we could say that's a human, right? And a completely inorganic
Sure.
system that is
You're,
a
you're
robot.
reaching, but okay.
Well, hypothetically, can we agree that a human?
What is this human?
This is who am I?
Can we agree that a Homo sapien?
Is that anything like a dancer?
But like, if
Stefan's too young for that reference.
if one is a completely organic thing and the other is
I
a
really
completely
like that one.
inorganic thing, and a cyborg is a middling, like something inorganic and organic at the same time, looking at it, you should be able to decide whether or not it is one or the other, right? At one end of the scale or at the other end of the scale, or the spectrum rather. And I feel like that's how you could
Like when you look at a
decide
duck, you just know that's a duck.
Sure, and I feel like
But
you
what
can-
about a crocodile?
He's talking about the uncanny valley in a way, but
Yeah.
like not.
when you
like-
look at somebody with prosthesis, you don't say that's a cyborg. You say that's a guy that
So-
doesn't have an arm.
So
kind of.
He literally is just bringing up the uncanny valley. But
Well, no.
not in regards
But
to
if you
robotics,
see
but in regards-
RoboCop-
you're cyborg.
But if you see RoboCop, you're like, that's a robot that looks like a man.
So what if you are in the uncanny valley where you can't decipher the?
Are you a cyborg?
I hope that'd be kind of cool.
No,
It's-
what I mean
or
is
is it
that
a
you look
cyborg?
at the image, you look at that
I
person.
can't wait to get a
right?
self-driving
You
cyborg.
you can see RoboCop and you're like cyborg, and you see normal person and dude, right, or
Yeah.
whatever, right? The uncanny valley would say, I don't.
Which
I don't,
one's
I
bestiality?
don't. This is making me uncomfortable. Can we please stop looking at this type?
Yeah.
Thing? You know, it's like
I
looking
feel
at-
like, but that has to be like brought to the forefront of this discussion, because otherwise we're going to say, well, this I think tips the scale, this I think tips the scale, this I think tips the scale, but then at the end of the day, like an average person is going to look at a person with a robotic stomach with a cyborg stomach, and they're going to say, well, that's just a person.
he has the look like you're all wrong, and here's why.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's not what I was gonna get at. That's not what I was gonna get
Look at
at.
Eric's
I
101.
know, but that one right there, that he had that
Yeah.
lean going on.
Oh yeah, the
and that
lean. The lean and the
eyebrows
side eye.
up, and then
I think
yes, indeed.
I
Let me
think
tell you.
aesthetic is important. I think aesthetic is important.
I'm
Well,
just
aesthetic
wait,
is always important.
I'm
yeah.
just waiting to jump in on a specific
So
sticking
if you
point.
sit here,
If you say-
Stefan, looks matter.
So if you say aesthetic is important, okay, go back to the Jack's idea, right? What if I metal arms, right? But then I just put skin on them artificially.
So is cyborg?
Am I cyborg?
You don't look like a cyborg.
Well,
So you're
that's
saying aesthetically.
well. See,
You look like a functioning human.
Or
Ray, that's referred to as passing.
I was gonna say, like, I know no one here except Eric has seen this, but Megalobox.
I've seen it also. I've
Okay,
seen it
you,
also.
so you have seen Megalobox.
Yes.
That's
Roblox?
Yes.
Yuri,
Roblox.
Yuri.
Rocket
Is Yuri a
Soccer
cyborg?
Robot.
Is Yuri a cyborg?
Yes.
Okay.
I would say so.
I think so too.
Aesthetically, he fits.
Well-
But his arms look exact, except for having a different skin or like tone. He looks like a human. Like they still have like muscle and tone and definition
Okay.
to them.
So it's not just
but am I remembering it incorrectly, or does he have like a metallic sort of?
It's like a metallic hue, or it
It's
is
like
all metal.
purple,
It's metal
almost.
color.
It's like it's
Except
purple,
for
but
his
it's
hands.
supposed to
His
be
hand-
gray.
His hands are normal
I
color.
remember it as like a Winter Soldier type deal, but that might be a
Yeah.
mismemory.
It's like it looks like Winter Soldier with two arms, but his hands are still human or like skin color.
Right. I'd say, well,
Well, that's
that
because
guy's
it's
arms.
augmenting his arms. It's not actually replacing them. That goes over
it
his
drills
arm.
into it.
It drills
yeah.
into his body.
That's right. My mistake.
but
My
it's
mistake.
still
Okay, so I guess aesthetically he would fulfill like the cyborg aesthetic, right? But then at a distance,
that aesthetic.
he wouldn't look like any more of a robot than a person. Had I known, well, yeah, he's got these weird implants in his back and chest
Yeah.
and whatever. Well, I'd say, well, yeah, he's a cyborg because he has these like weird.
But he doesn't.
Not
but if
human
aesthetic-
things.
But if aesthetics is important, and he doesn't look like a cyborg.
I mean, he still has gray arms.
No, I'm refuting my initial.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, he's a cyborg, but not everybody's gonna see that he has like bolts out of his chest. You know, that he's just like covering with a shirt of some sort.
So I want to hit you with a thought, and I think that
But Junk Dog is not a cyborg.
Absolutely not.
I,
He's
I,
a cool guy.
I think there are definitively parts that if that is not human anymore, you're at the least a cyborg, possibly not human at that point. Like you've gone full robot.
So you approach Android. Sort
You
of
you
thing.
you approach android replicant
Dude.
whatever. Case in point, if you replace the entire human brain with a robot
Well,
computer serving the same function as
What's
a
the
brain,
ship? What's the ship? You replace all the parts. You get another ship,
Oh,
which is the original ship.
that's the human soul.
What was it, like Apollo's ship or whatever it was?
I know what he's talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
It's a philosophical
Yeah,
exercise.
philosophical argument.
Did you say Apollo? It's
I thought
Odysseus.
Apollo- I
It's
can't-
not that, yeah,
it's
but-
like, I couldn't remember the
I'm
name.
pretty sure it's Odysseus.
Okay, I couldn't remember the name.
No.
I just knew it was one of those.
Cattle of the sun gods is Apollo.
Move. Move over. Woo.
But yeah, if you replace all the parts, then yeah, you just got yourself a robot.
I'm just saying that I think that because, like I said, I think specific parts do tip the scale quite severely. Like if you don't have a human heart anymore, like the central thing to being alive, or a human brain, which is kind of, as we understand it, the thing that makes you you.
Robot heart, still human, teeter-tottering on that cyborg.
Okay.
I could have wrote a bunch of stuff about Bicentennial Man in here. I didn't.
What if
Great movie.
Sorry.
you replace the heart, but it's with organic material grown using technology with some cybernetic enhancements?
Human.
See, he's sitting here. He's jumping ahead.
Sorry.
No, it's fine.
I say, Eric, this is what we call seamless.
No, I know. I think we could go right to the third bullet point then, unless you.
I had a quick aside because in hindsight, the whole aesthetic argument, I wanted to entertain how much aesthetic mattered.
We get it. You're shallow.
Yeah, thank you.
No, it's important
man.
because
No, I'm a cyborg. He's right. I'm a cyborg. There is nothing inside of me. It's all. This is my external shell. This is
He's actually connected to your Wi-Fi.
You're a ghost
right now.
in the shell.
absolutely.
All right.
Stefan in the shell.
This is actually Scarlett Johansson.
This sounds like a character from a song in Little Mermaid, Stefan in the Shell. Like something Sebastian
First of
would sing
all,
about.
I'd like that you don't infringe on my intellectual property, because nobody at Disney is supposed to be leaking that information,
Registered
especially
sign,
not me.
Trademark, copyright. Oh, so you don't steal.
Stefan in the shell.
Trademark,
Yeah.
trademark, copyright. It's ours now.
TM.
TM.
Walt Disney's gonna be on my ass tomorrow.
Or his ghost. His cyborg ghost. So, the third bullet point being, do synthetic limbs require being high technology to be considered a cyborg in your mind?
Yes.
Or can it just be like a peg leg? Because then pirates are cyborgs.
100% not.
So you think it has
That's
to
just
be
a piece of wood.
It has to be
That's
sufficiently advanced.
improvisation.
You don't believe in woodpunk cyborgs?
No.
Wood punk cyborg.
Never make that sentence to me ever again.
Mokujin from
Yeah, Mokujin from Tekken is a woodpunk cyborg.
I'm offended.
a wood punk cyborg.
I aim to please.
Wood punk. No,
Like
no.
Bender from that episode of Futurama when he's made out of wood.
Yeah.
How can you prove that Plank from Edda and Eddie is not a woodpunk cyborg?
Can't.
Fuck me.
Well, I mean, a botanist could probably prove he's one full piece of wood.
Have we cut into him?
Well,
Well, that's my point.
I say I know in
He's
one
one
episode
solid
he
chunk.
grows
I don't think he's been-
grows like a branch, so it's actually still alive too.
So you're
Maybe
saying
it's like
he
a
was
Dalek situation.
Are you saying he's been a slave the whole time?
Correct.
A thrall?
Yeah, if you
My
will.
God.
Deep.
So, I mean, this topic would probably cover...
Link is a wood punk cyborg.
This is the Edda and Eddie
Dumbest-
fan theory you didn't
the
think we'd
dumbest
unpack.
sentence ever uttered
I don't
on
know
this
why
podcast.
that. Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know why that sentence just pisses me off.
Previously
Like,
previously unspoken sentences.
No.
it just like genuinely makes me angry.
I
Like,
definitely
no.
said that out loud at least once before when priming certain people about this topic that I knew weren't going to be here for it.
A wood punk cyborg.
Woodpunk
Stop
cyborg.
saying it.
No, I think Woodpunk cyborg
Raise
isn't even
blood
the worst
pressure,
one.
raise
Can you-
2 points every
Can
time
you
say
imagine
it.
the conversation about stone punk cyborgs?
I'm more comfortable with that.
Really?
I don't know why. There's something about wood. Yeah, I can't even say
But
it.
you can,
It's like dirty.
But you can grow a tree in a mold so that it'll be shaped like an arm.
Well, you think if you say yeah, I guess
You can hollow
But,
it out and hide your weed in
If
there.
you say stone punk, all I think is like golems and stuff like that. You know what
It's
I
more
mean?
like Flintstones, but
No, but like yeah, okay.
there's a tiny pterodactyl in your arm, and that's how you flex. It's in a wheel. Why you put the pterodactyl in the wheel?
Is that your stand?
Yeah, that's my stand.
Mokujin?
Everyone walk the dinosaur.
Well done.
I'm glad.
You'll never defeat me in this game.
No,
Eric's too quick.
I came prepared.
this is a game I've won by participating in.
That's true. Nobody lost. Some people just got first place.
There's never been a sentence that defines Eric's life more than that one right
Yeah.
there.
So,
Every time then you get these like perfect Eric nuggets.
so
Like you just want to take those Eric nuggets and dip them in ranch.
to go back to
Some honey mussy.
what you were saying earlier,
Honey
Ray.
mussy.
You
Did
believe
you say honey mussy?
I'm sorry, Eric. Please.
Oh,
do more of them.
Oh no!
I'm totally cool with giving you open time to just like
Yeah,
Say
please.
dumb shit.
a moment of
discuss all the
silence.
honey
A
must
moment
you
of
want.
silence for everyone's respect for Stefan. Press F in the comments. Ray, you said something about growing limbs.
Yeah.
Would you say that those limbs apply to the cyborg
No,
because they're organic,
correct.
even though they're also synthetic at the same time?
It's still a living system by our definition, a living system. If there's blood circulating through it,
All right,
it
so-
operates very much similarly to that. No matter the methodology of how it was created, whether it's ear on mouse, it's still a fucked up picture. It makes me uncomfortable.
Oh, the mouse of the ear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would, but that's the thing is like that's living tissue.
It makes me uncomfortable because I know he hears me talking shit about him.
The mouse.
Yeah.
Yeah. He just hears
You know, the
sweet
mouse had
honey
fine
mussies
ears
and
before. It could have heard you anyway.
Oh.
All the mice could hear you, not just
Oh,
the human ear.
jeez.
Are you implying that the human ear makes it understand English?
I mean,
Well,
I
human
hope
normative.
It's
I
a
mean-
babble fish?
narratively, I would love for it to work that way.
But I think I answered that. Yeah.
Listen to your heart.
It's a matter of living versus synthetic system.
See, I don't know. I think that a sufficiently advanced mechanical system will replicate organic function perfectly. Kind of like that whole science becomes magic once it's advanced enough.
Yeah.
Organic and synthetic, the distinction
Yeah,
doesn't
but
matter so much once you know what you're doing.
But I don't have a firm grasp on what that may be, and I don't think anybody truly does. You know what I mean? Because all I see is if you're saying like synthetic systems,
Well,
all
alright.
I see is it's something that somebody had to code.
A human-
and it's made out of rare earth materials and all that other stuff. And
Well, let's say a human is a certain percentage of carbon, and let's say you make a
Okay.
synthetic limb or organ or body part out of that percentage of carbon. So, percentage-wise, it's still the same amount human as human on like a chemical level, but it's plastic. Let's say it's basically a sort of pseudoplastic made of carbon,
okay,
and it's not organically grown traditionally. Maybe it was printed in a 3D printer. But
Okay.
it still manages to serve the function of a human organ or limb, but it's not
Like you print a kidney.
it's not
or a
organic.
liver.
It's synthetic, but it works the same and it's chemically the same. I mean, obviously,
then I don't.
the human immune system might still attack
it.
it.
The same, and it's chemically the same. Then it's not synthetic.
it is synthetic, though.
It's manufactured, but it's not synthetic.
Well, that's-
it's an organic system.
Well, that's the definition of synthetic.
I
Isn't
know,
it?
but then
It's something
but then
synthesized.
that definition would then be changed, kind of deal. If that was the case, wouldn't you think?
I mean,
Like,
I guess
in that world where that happens,
if we want to have the conversation down the road about it, I'm trying to work with today's definitions to have a conversation about today's cyborg.
No, but
just a real walking around cyborg fighting for a client.
Well, no, legitimately
Cyborg in the
something-
Justice League. Is that a cyborg?
No, that's a CG abomination.
Yeah, exactly.
Remember that time you learned how to fly? No, you didn't see it?
Did
Smart.
that happen in the movie?
Yep.
I don't remember that.
Did you see that movie?
What movie?
I saw it with you, Eric.
Wait, which movie?
Justice League.
Oh, yeah.
He
No, I
only
thought-
remembers things that he hates.
I think you guys were talking about Chappie for a minute.
Which of us?
That's why Eric can never forget me.
I've said it in multiple episodes.
I would say it's his hate for me that makes him stronger. It
Yeah.
keeps him looking so young.
It's true. A lot of people moisturize. I just
Eric
hate.
hates.
Are we sufficiently done talking about Peg Leg's Woodpunk Cyborg?
Ray's been done with Woodpunk Cyborgs, I think
leaving.
it's fair.
Bye, Ray.
All right. Well,
No.
this is the final question, and this one I did know would be shorter. I also thought there would be a little more arguing, and you guys wouldn't all agree and not agree with me, but that's okay. This is, like I said in the other episodes, this show isn't about figuring out my opinion. It's about figuring out yours. Final actual question, then we can open the floor to whatever you guys want to talk about that still pertains to cyborgs. Can you go full synthetic and still technically be human? Are you even a cyborg at that point if you're
Detroit
100%?
become human.
Don't fucking talk about that game you've never played.
See, if you're going full synthetic, then then that poses the question: when you stop becoming a cyborg and you become an android?
And when do you start being
Well, that's-
Wooden Punk
that's-
2099?
That's that
that's-
Odysseus'
it-
boat thing
Yeah.
at the end of the day. But at a certain
Apollo's boat.
Apollo's cattle of the sun god. That's basically the question, because at a certain point, the part of you that's you is gone, right?
Yeah.
Because I mean,
Everything that did define you as you is gone.
well, it's like I said, my sticking point for personality and thought is the brain. So I think as soon as you replace the brain, you're not you anymore. And
Yeah.
and I don't mean you're not you anymore and like you've changed. You don't look me in the eyes during anymore or that sort of shit. I mean like
You don't look me in the eyes during anymore.
I mean
You're
like
not around Eric enough.
I mean like in
If that
a
gets
real
to
way,
you.
like you know how like
no, and it doesn't get to me. I wanted
Like-
to repeat
like-
that for
like the
prosperity.
like the transporter in Star Trek. You didn't move. You got atomized
Broken
and there's a
down.
new you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you anymore? They don't ever talk about it, but you're not, are you? That's a different you.
They did talk about that.
I don't watch Star
Okay,
Trek.
fair enough. Yeah, there's this one guy who's like, I refuse to go in there because like it's not gonna be me coming out.
Oh,
They have a
yeah.
whole philosophical discussion about it.
Is that O'Brien?
I don't fucking know.
Do you?
I don't.
I don't.
No, I don't watch Star Trek.
Yeah.
Losers.
It's not as if it's like a religious decision I've made. Like I'm not watching Star Trek.
I just
Like-
don't like shit shows.
I don't eat meat on Fridays.
Whoa.
I stay away from pork. Also,
Eric-
I don't watch Star Trek.
Eric, that's not true. I know the anime you watch. You watch a lot of shit shows.
I know the anime you watch too.
Okay, I watch shit shows too. I'm not denying that.
You watch shows that should frankly be criminal.
Fruits Basket. I know, but still, frankly, should be criminal. Fruits Basket.
Nah, that show's fine. Trust.
Somebody. Who,
We'll have an off-camera discussion about that.
Again, you
I've only
listeners
watched-
at home
I've
are
only
only
watched
getting the
2
the
episodes.
audio, not the
They're
video.
not paying for the premium service.
Yeah, get on our Patreon.
Let's not make a Patreon.
No,
We don't own a Patreon as of this time. If you see a Patreon of this that's with this name, it's not us. But you can give them money. I don't. That's your life, unless you're a cyborg and then you're not alive.
Okay, well, we still didn't answer that question. You know, because you're talking like what makes humans human,
Yeah.
and it is for me. It'll always be the focal point of my mind, but that's me. Some people have the religious connotation of the soul and blah 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 and all that stuff.
I don't even necessarily think those are
where am the soul?
super distinct.
Heart
I know.
and brain.
Yeah, no.
It's
but-
not an important difference. The mind and the soul. It's basically the same thing for this
Yep.
purpose.
Yep.
It's your personal identity.
But still, I mean, like, yes, you have that, like, kind of, like, safety net, like, boom, yes, you take brain, boom, cyborg, or robot, or whatever, what have you. But, like, still, like we said before, to some of us, it's, like, more, like, depending on, like, the vitality of that part, it's, like, or, like, for, like, what I was said, like, with the eyes, if everything's normal on you except for your eyes, you got special eyes, you're a cyborg.
Or blind. That's actually an interesting sub question. If you have cyborg eyes, you don't technically see anymore, right? The robot sees for you. Are you blind?
But your mind still perceives sight, though.
No, because your mind, yeah, exactly. Like the eyes may not work, but the synapses and all that.
Yeah, but
stuff,
is that sight?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Because it's
light is
all
still
this is
entering a
processing
lens and reflecting.
Yeah.
and
Well,
being
then you
present.
enter like the realm of like eldritch horror, where you're like, well, there are certain things that human eyes can't see. Can these robot eyes see some of the things that human eyes can't see? That human eyes are
Look
tricked
with
by.
your special eyes.
The robot eyes have madman's insight.
Mad lad insight.
You just gotta make sure you get your brand.
Papa says whenever the bass drops, a cyborg gets his synthetic organs.
What?
It's my
I
favorite.
know what.
That's my favorite line from Bicentennial Man.
Glad someone else here is a man of culture, seen the true best Robin Williams film.
I
Man
mean,
of culture and bicentennial man should never be. No.
Sam Neill's in
it's
that
like
movie,
wood
come on.
punk cyborg. No. Ugh.
he is a cyborg that's
has,
carving
like-
with wood.
He has like a generational harem.
That's sort of true.
I don't like
Never
that.
seen it.
It's kind of wild, actually.
Bicentennial man.
Have you ever
Yeah,
wanted
you're
to see
better off for it.
Bicentennial Man about to? Or you ever want to see Robin Williams about to get down, and then tell a joke about it? But he's a robot, so it's not as weird.
Uh-huh.
But also, he's still Robin Williams, so it's weirder.
Sounds good.
It's a great movie as long as you want to watch a robot dance.
It's him thinking your mom is hot, and then, oh, too late, I guess.
Shit, I'm a robot. You got old. Well, your daughter's
Damn.
hot, though.
And her
Yeah.
daughter, damn, ooh,
Yep. Uh-huh.
ooh.
Uh-huh.
Oh fuck. Oh man.
No,
But they like-
that's the iceberg explanation to that whole thing. Like,
That
there's still
movie-
so much underneath.
That movie is this
Absolutely.
conversation in reverse. No, it literally is. It's his attempt. He's trying to become human by the end of the movie.
Robin Williams become
So-
human.
So he's making synthetic human analog organs, and he's implanting them into himself. He's
Yeah.
becoming less efficient as the movie goes on, but becoming more human.
And every
This
time,
awesome. This sounds like a good movie.
I like it.
It's garbage, but go ahead.
like I said,
It's
it's
not.
just
It's not
I mean,
factually
I got
accurate.
1.5 to 1.
it's him thinking your mom is too hot, and then oops, too late, I'm a robot, and then oh well, her daughter's fine, and oops, too late, I'm a robot, and oh I guess her daughter's fine, oops, right on time, I'm a robot.
I'm not a robot.
Not anymore. Plot twist. All right. Spoiler alert.
Oops, not robot credits.
Yeah, it only took like the UN or whatever, like some president being like,
The Supreme Court.
You are
being
the
like,
first
"You are first
human.
human that was robot."
You're the first transhuman.
It's
Yeah.
like those like BuzzFeed videos where they pause them in frame, and it's like, she is India's first woman.
Yeah,
You are the first human.
yeah. Don't watch it. It's terrible.
Ah,
It's
yeah.
terrible.
It's got that guy from Lake Placid.
I mean, the guy from Jurassic Park.
I mean, the guy from Bicentennial Man?
That's Sam Neill. I'm talking about the guy from Lake Placid.
Oh, it does have him too. Oh yeah, he's the robot dog maker, isn't he?
Yeah, he gets to make the robot
Yeah,
dog.
he makes robot. There's a whole scene where he's like, I can get you the business down there, right?
And Rob Williams
And
like,
Roger's like, what are you talking about? He's like, the business.
he's like, but he's like, but would I feel? And he's like, I mean, the way you feel. I mean, not the same way a regular person would, but yeah, you could fuck somebody up.
Yeah, you'd feel it, the business.
Your mom.
And I don't know why you're telling him not to watch the movie because you clearly love all
That's
this.
fucking garbage.
Every part he's in is great. You're out of your mind. All right, that's
Eric,
it.
sign us off.
We're never gonna
Talk
come
about
together on
Bicentennial Man or
this.
Woodpunk again.
I really thought we were gonna make combine to make like a super robot who agreed on stuff about this because I thought all this was pretty obvious, but you guys all disagreed with me. So one of us is wrong, or all three of you are idiots, and we'll leave that to the people in the comments to decide.
Well, you know where Eric sits on this.
What? No, it's got to be divisive.
Love you, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Stay
Special
classy.
thanks
Stay
to our
hydrated.
guests.
Shut up, Stefan.
Is Walt Disney a cyborg?